This is Brian Myers from JC Off-Road, and I just been overhauled. You're listening to XJ Talk Show.
Greetings and salutations. This is the XJ Talk Show. My name's Tony, and this is the XJ Talk Show pre-show. We normally start this about 15 minutes prior to showtime. Although, truth be told, we don't always get the show started on time. In fact, we hardly ever do. I think we may have started at 10 on one occasion. And of course, that's 10 p.m. Central Time every Thursday. Sit back. You'll get to listen to some of the conversations, I was going to say shenanigans, I guess it could be that at times, between Josh and I. Josh has not called in yet, but when he does, you'll hear us chatting about the show and talking back and forth about, are we ready now? Are we ready now? Are we ready now?
For your life, it's perfect where they Hi, this is Tanya Francine with the National Weather Service Skywarn program, reminding you to keep an eye to the sky and listen to the XJ Talk Show.
Hey, it's Matt Adair with Eddie Cash Racing. Tune into the XJ Talk Show to find out more about our team and the Jeep we all love.
Hey guys, this is Andy from Ironman4x45.com, also known as Ironman Andy, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Okay, so Josh has joined us, fashionably late.
Well, I am, the tip of the spear when it comes to fashion and all that.
You would love your audio right now. It just, it sounds like very Halloweenish.
Oh, is that right? Halloweenish. Oh, that's not good.
Nah, it's probably a Skype issue. At least that's what I'm hoping.
All right, let me hang up and call back.
All right.
All right, let's see how that's
Oh,
doing.
good. I'm getting bandwidth warnings from YouTube because we're shooting this stuff out at 1280 by 720, and I didn't have the camera, even though the camera is a high def camera. The camera in the video mixing software wasn't set for high def, so I was still recording or getting the video off of the camera at a much lower resolution. But now I'm at the 1280 by 720.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, hopefully that ends up maintaining for us tonight.
I wonder where that audio is coming from. There's some audio coming back in when you talk.
Weird.
Do you hear it?
No, and I've got everything muted except for the mic. I don't have any speakers going or anything like that, so yeah, I don't know.
Let's talk some more and see.
All right, well, I'm just sitting here working on getting some of our YouTube subscribers brought over into the show notes, and I guess we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's better than it was, but it's not good.
All right, well,
what's your band quality or bandwidth quality say?
That's usually what it usually is. It's in the yellow. Call quality information is... Where's it at? Action. Oh, it's going to make me test it. Well, it's yellow. It's not red. It's not white. It's yellow.
I don't know why it's doing that. I'm hoping it's not because of the using up all the bandwidth. Are you streaming the show?
No, I don't have anything open except for show notes and my email.
You might want to stream the show and listen to it and see what I'm talking about. Did kind of a cool effect earlier. I was when I was setting up this camera, I had to delete the old one, and I didn't want to get up and turn the big light on yet. So I thought, how can I illuminate my background to see if the background is set up properly? So I grabbed a flashlight here on my desk and shined it behind me, and I had this circle of the moving logo, the moving stuff that's in the background. So it was kind of cool seeing you could just illuminate. You could illuminate part of the green screen that you wanted to have up for the background. I mean, if you want, just go ahead and call me back and let's see if that fixes it. It fixed it for a little bit. I don't know.
All right.
Hoping I don't have to drop the quality.
All right, so bringing up YouTube right now, and gonna get the live stream going here in just a second as soon as it starts loading.
Everything's fine so far. I think I hear myself talking from your stream.
Yeah.
The green screen that you wanted to have up for the background.
And of course,
if you want, just go ahead.
Right when I'm not saying anything.
Let's see if that fixes it. It fixed it for a little bit. I don't know.
All right.
Hoping I don't have to drop the quality. Oh, did you hear it just then when you said all right?
No, it wasn't enough. Dang it.
Kind of sounds like a tin can. Anyway, we can talk a little bit here and see if it does it again. hopefully
right.
it won't.
Well, I was having the tin can issue with the other microphone. On YouTube right now, and gonna get the live stream going here in just a second as soon as it starts loading.
Oh, I don't hear it now. So far,
I do hear the echo though. It's room noise.
Yeah, I think I hear myself talking from your stream.
Yeah,
the green screen that you wanted to have up for the background.
And of course,
if you want, just go ahead.
Right when I'm not saying anything.
Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, well, it's not doing it now, so if it stays away, good. If it doesn't, then we'll have to address it. Did you hear it? So I don't think we have time for the Amazon You Bought What and a Steve segment tonight. So I didn't, and also too, I ran out of time to edit the stuff. I had to do video editing as much as putting it together. For the Radio Comtech, so I figure we'll do Amazon You Bought What and the Radio Comtech segment, which is an audio video.
Oh, okay.
New video from John.
That sounds cool.
And the Vermont Jeep girl, she actually is talking about an event that's going to be happening this weekend. I wish she had got it in a little sooner. But she just contacted me this past week, so I asked her if she wouldn't mind calling in the event, and she did. So very nice, professionally sounding read on this voicemail, and
cool.
Of course, the one from Mickey G. And I just finished the last little bit of my coffee, so I'm going to run downstairs and at least get me some water, and I'll be right back.
All right.
I think I've given you enough there for the notes. I already have the voicemails in there, so.
Yeah, and let's see. Of course, I didn't scroll down far enough. Do we got Amazon stuff in here?
Yes. I don't know where you want to put it. I just stuck it at the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Okay, got it. That was no good.
Okay, so the dog was sitting on the stairs. We kind of got a stairs up, then to a landing midway, and then stairs up the rest of the way. And he was sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, why in the world are you sitting here all by yourself? And turned out that it was my wife must have gone to pick up one of the girls from their part-time job.
Ah, okay, I get it.
So what happened, Josh? Did it reconnect?
It must have. It went off there for a second, and then it came back. Hopefully my video is back up and running.
Audio's horrible.
What's going on with that? Let me try and reconnect. We'll see what happens. All right, if this doesn't sound at least halfway decent, then I might have to just resort going back to the other microphone, which will only take me about a minute to reinstall.
I don't know if it's if that's it or not. I'm seeing the same call quality information that I always do.
Yeah, same here.
I don't understand why, if I'm sending a lot of data to YouTube, I don't know why it would mess up the stuff coming to me. I mean, it's your audio coming to me, unless it's having a hard time arbitrating how much bandwidth is available, and it's cutting it back.
Yeah, there should be a difference between upload and download, I would think.
I would hope. Yeah, your audio's messed up again.
Yeah. All right. Give me just 1 minute here. I'm going to mute my mic and then swap them out real quick.
All right. This seems strange that it would work and then stop working, So, guys, this is what you get on the fun part of pre-show. You get to see the nuts and bolts, as Josh would say, how the sausage is made, which I'm sure all makes us shudder for more than one reason or another. Yeah, I think I remember that sound that my coworker makes. She goes, "Da-da-da-da." I figured that'd be a good drop. Yeah, I figured that'd be a good drop for some of the really bad jokes that I tell, the bad puns. Josh is micless currently. He is naked. He is without mic. Yeah, your video quality has dropped, so I bet you it's a bandwidth thing that is causing the problem with the microphone. I mean, causing the problem with the audio. Here on YouTube it says, we are not receiving video data at a fast enough rate. Your viewers may experience buffering. Ensure your connection is fast enough, or consider using a lower bit rate.
Check. Just a little bit and move the gate. Drop some bass out of that a little bit and... All right, I don't know how that's... it sounds lovely in my ears, but I don't know how it's sounding on your side.
Have you ever been in a large steel-hulled boat?
Oh, really? Man, what is...
That's what I'm telling you. When you reconnect and it sounds fine, then it's probably not your microphone because you're not making any changes.
Yeah, figures.
So let me see. We're going to drop the feed for a second, guys, and see if I can drop the bandwidth usage, the amount of bandwidth that I'm sending up to Ustream. So hang in there for just a second, guys.
Check.
Okay, let's see, better save this preset. I'm going to restart the vMix software.
All right.
Hang in there, guys. We're just trying to work out some bandwidth issues so that we can get this rode on the show. Saving the mixer settings. Are you sure you would like to close? Yeah, well, I guess that's important if we're in the middle of the show and I accidentally hit that little button. Okay. Start that back up. So we're working out some bandwidth issues. At least that's what I believe is happening. Josh, say a little something. Let's see if it's messing up again.
A little something. I don't know if that's how that's going to sound or what we have going on. Hopefully the bandwidth issues have been taken care of and all is well in the Webiverse.
It's still doing it. We just may have to live with it.
I do not like that. Not one bit. All right, I got the YouTube subscribers updated. I just got a couple more things to add to the show notes. Just got to snag them from last week's real quick. I thought I'd thrown them in there. Things like the chit chat and show wrap up and all that, but I guess not.
Well, I can't think of anything over here that I can do to change anything with your audio. Just looking at the audio settings here. I don't know. I'm
just going to record my voice really quick. I'm going to just try to open up Audacity here for a second, and I'm just going to record a few seconds of audio.
Okay.
And play it back and just make sure that it's not something internal on my side, because if I record this audio and I play it back and it sounds like I'm talking in a big steel can, then we're going to know that it's obviously on my end, which would be weird because I'm not hearing it in my headphones. So play it back and just make sure that it's not something internal on my side, because if I record this audio and I play it back and it sounds like I'm talking in a big steel can, then we're going to know that it's definitely something on my end.
It sounds like the same thing here, but I don't know if it's because of Skype or if you heard the same thing.
No, I'm hearing the same thing.
Thank God.
Yeah, so which is weird because I'm not hearing it in my headphones. Which is really weird. Why am I not hearing that in my headphones?
I wish we had done that before I dropped the bandwidth, but we can always do it again next week. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule at least a half day off and go ahead and get the bandwidth upgraded so I can send mega bandwidth to YouTube. YouTube will say, no, please stop, no more. Come on, a little bit more. Oh, no, stop. So we've all been there, guys. So we're just working through some technical issues. Fortunately, or unfortunately, while you're messing with that, Josh, I think I'm going to redo the bandwidth. No, I'm going to leave it alone. No sense of monkeying with two different things at the same time. Just wanted to use the high def, damn it.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
So coming up on tonight's show, we're going to be doing a new Radio Com Tech segment with John, Pre-Runner 1982. And it's actually a video audio segment. So there's going to be a kind of a slideshow on with the audio that he provided to us. And so far, John has been the only one providing material for the Radio Com segment, and we really appreciate that. That he's doing that. But if you'd like to get involved, please feel free. You do not have to to be able to do anything except talk, put two words together, and not have too long a pause in between them, and be able to record that audio and send it to us. And if you'd like to talk about Jeeps or radios or comm or tech,
crud,
or crud, you could talk about crud. We could have a crud segment.
No, we're gonna. Yeah, God dang it! I can't believe Here, let me pick up this ball I dropped. Tony, I did not upload an opener.
If I had those on file, I could grab one myself. Not the ball, but an opener.
Yeah. If I had enough room in Dropbox to have all these in there, we could do that. Oh, where the heck are the segments? There we are. Openers. 18.
So if you guys aren't in our chat room, if you go over to xjtalkshow.com, you will see there at the very top of the, well, not the very top, but towards the top of the page, episode 147, XJ Talk Show live tonight, 10 p.m. Central Time, which is a lie because it's well past that time. And you can watch the show there, and we have a little chat room that you can join in the fun, talk to each other, and talk to us as we have time to look over there and do things. Usually when one of us is on a long chat, a long verbal tirade, if you will.
Well, I was going to try and really quick swap out my mic cord, but all of my cords and stuff are all packed away right now.
What if you turn off that tube amp?
How could I do that? Because everything is in line.
Well, can you make an adjustment through it or something to see if that changes the noise?
Well, I can drop the drive out of the tube, so the amount of tube that it adds.
Oh, you know what? I bet you it's because if you reconnect, it's just fine. So it has to be something with your laptop. Well, no, because you recorded it, and that's local. Yeah. Where do you get the audio from on the recording? Is it the same audio that's going into the laptop?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I can understand you. You want to try calling back in and let's see if it acts right for a few seconds?
And it probably is going to act right until right about now.
No, it's working fine. But
Weird.
It takes it a couple minutes, and then it starts acting up.
Yeah, because like my bandwidth indicator is white for the first few seconds, and then it goes to yellow. Meaning for a brief moment there, we have good call quality, and then it drops off.
Well, one of the things we could do would be to... you could stop sending me video, and we can see if the audio stays that way. You have an image up on your screen. I mean, on your Skype image, and then we could just have that up there for tonight. But
nah, I don't think that's going to change anything. I mean, I can hang up and then call you back with audio only.
No,
I don't think that's
the image is up now. Your video went away.
Right, I turned it off.
Okay.
I didn't know if, initiating a new call with no video would make any difference than initiating a call with video.
I think at this point we just need to get going so we can do the show, and we'll just make apologies as necessary.
22 after, yeah, we're messing around with this long enough. But you should have an opener in there any moment now if you don't already.
Oh, let me have a look. This is what happens when you touch things. Not you, me. And this is why I don't like touching things. There. And openers, show openers, segment openers, no. Can openers, no. Just plain openers.
Double check this.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. We're going to get started here.
All right.
And audio quality be damned. Alrighty. You know, I forgot the video, nice little neon video sign that I had made up for the Tony and Josh show. I forgot to play that last night.
Oh, really?
Remember that thing? We only used it once, so I guess that's one.
All right.
Let's see. Need that one up. Got that up. All right.
Let's do it. Or something.
The XJ Talk Show is for entertainment purposes only. Any advice or information provided on this show should be verified by alternative sources prior to making any changes or modifications to your vehicle. We are not experts, just people that enjoy the Jeep hobby and don't mind talking endlessly about it. P.S. We love you. Wave.
Breaking news at the XJ Talk Show News Desk. Clan of wrestling midgets attacked and killed by gaggle of fake hookers. Full story right after this.
Hey, stud. It's time for the XJ Talk Show. Now, here's my two favorite boys, Tony and Josh.
Hey, it's episode 147. I'm Tony, and that's Josh. And Josh may have some audio issues tonight, but we're going to blame it on Skype.
Yes, we are. And apparently I'm also having video issues.
Oh, you sound fine. See, all I have to do is say there's a problem, and then it'll all be okay.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I am Josh. He is Tony. This is, like he said, episode 147 of the XJ Talk Show. We've got all sorts of good stuff for you guys tonight. A little bit of tech. We're going to delve into some Jeep news as well. Of course, we're going to talk about our own Jeeps a little bit, as we oftentimes do. And, of course, the return of Amazon You Bought What. All that and lots more. So, guys, stick around. You're in store for a great show.
It's always a great show, Josh. How dare you?
Yes, of course.
And, you know, as long as the sound quality is good, who cares if the audio is, the video is a little jerky. It just makes the jokes funnier, I think.
Oh, sure. Yeah, delayed reaction.
Hey, this is the XJ Talk Show, a podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-roading, the tech that you need to get you there and back. We're here to promote the web's most premier website for all that is Jeep Cherokee, xjtalk.com, the friendliest and most helpful Jeep site on the web. xjtalk.com encourages and answers the questions and concerns that the first-time XJ owners typically have without the flaming or criticism, all while giving you the best, most in-depth articles and write-ups for the repairs, modifications that take your average XJ to the next level. Now get ready. It's the XJ Talk Show, and it starts right now.
First week in Jeep.
Well, despite our best efforts, Jeep decides to make the new Cherokee for one more year. And I would be more than happy to tell you all about this Jeep story if my show notes were cooperating with me and I actually had the story up on my screen. But even with our constant bashing, bad-mouthing, and more than a few attempts at sabotage, the Chrysler Fiat Motor Company has decided to go forth with aborting these hideous creations of poor automotive engineering into the marketplace for yet another year. Production began mid-August, and already the new models are out strutting their stuff in mall parking lots and super slabs everywhere. So what do we get with the new model year? Well, more stuff to go wrong is what I say, but in fact not much has changed on the 2015 Jeep Cherokee from its first-year re-debut earlier this year. From the outside, little can be seen as far as differences go. The grille is all hell, and there's still next to no articulation, and the available wheel and tire packages certainly haven't done it any justice at all. So what do we get in 2015? Integrated tailpipes. Yep, that's right, because nothing says I'm living up to my predecessor's off-road heritage and rugged styling like flush-mounted exhaust tips in the already too. Well, if kitschy trend-setting exhaust design doesn't a quarter teaspoon of technology just might. We reported a couple months back that the Jeep was toying around with the idea of what they're calling automatic start-stop engine system, or as I like to call it, the if this fails, you're screwed engine mismanagement system. Jeep estimates that the new start-stop system can improve the city fuel economy by about a whopping 3%. If you're stuck in traffic a lot, the saving can be a little bit higher than that. The premise is when turned on, the system will shut off the engine when the vehicle comes to a stop or is at rest. Or with the history of the Cherokee we all love to hate, we'll probably cut the power when you least expect it, like over that railroad crossing you drive over every morning. In any case, one flea fart on the gas pedal, a super high-speed starter, brings the anemic 2.4 four-cylinder or the 3.2-liter V6 back to life, and you're back on your way. Is new exhaust and red light, green light tech enough to make you jump out and go get one of these new Jeeps? Yeah, probably not, but it certainly isn't going to make you drop out a second mortgage and run to your local Jeep dealer to get one of these. But if you happen to get a wild hair and you want to take one of these for a test drive, give us a call. Let us know what you think. Well, it's about time, I say, for a feel-good Jeep story, and I've got one for you. It's blue, tinted gray gunmetal like the hull of a battle cruiser, battleship's hull. It's 26 some odd years old, and its name is Gladys. Matt Wogelmuth's 88 Jeep Wrangler was returned to him Saturday after it received a makeover from Mount Zion Off-Road in Dover, Pennsylvania. With the tab picked up by the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Matt Wogelmuth, who is 18 and is from Morgantown, Berks County, has an incurable chronic kidney disease, a congenital condition that involves the continuing worsening of his kidney functions. He's been on the transplant waiting list since he was 16. He says he feels good right now, but his kidneys are definitely getting worse. The hope is to make it as long as he can before he absolutely needs a transplant, he says. He started his freshman year at Bloomsburg University a few weeks ago. He's majoring in business management and marketing. Mount Zion Off-Road General Manager Curtis Weir said the work normally would cost about $8,000 to $10,000. He said Make-A-Wish paid for it all, but the price was reduced because some of the parts were donated by some of the vendors for absolutely free. Make-A-Wish contacted his shop because he specializes in Jeeps. He said there aren't many off-road specialty garages around the area, and he was honored to accept the challenge of transforming this brave teen's pride and joy. The 88 YJ not only got a new paint job, but also brand new wheels and tires, bumpers, fender flares, and much more. Wogelmuth has owned the Jeep since just before he turned 15. He named it Gladys shortly after that. Gladys, he says, just popped into my head one day while I was working on it. It's kind of an old Jeep, and it seemed like it needed an old lady name. Working on the Jeep is one of his favorite ways to pass time, so it was a logical choice to ask Make-A-Wish for help with it when the group asked him what he wanted to do. He says, they asked me if I wanted to go anywhere, but it'd just be a one-and-done sort of thing, he said. Good point. But he says he plans on having the Jeep for the rest of his life. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say I hope he gets to enjoy that beautiful YJ for many, many years to come. If you guys would like to check out Mount Zion Off-Road, or you'd like to give them praise for helping out Matt in this and the Make-A-Wish Foundation, you can help and find them at mountzionoffroad.com, or find them on Facebook. Friend them out, facebook.com/Mount Zion Off-Road. Hey guys, if you would like to submit a story to be aired on This Week in Jeep, or you have a response to any one of our stories that we said here on This Week in Jeep, please send an email to newstips@xjtalkshow.com.
Yeah, and you can also send us a voicemail. I mean, Nikki G will do that. Call in and make comments on the show, and we'd appreciate you guys telling us, hey, especially if you've got some news about Wranglers or the real Cherokees or anything. So that voicemail line is 530-675-4102. 530-675-4102. Call in often. It's 24/7 voicemail. No one will answer the phone. I see that as a plus, Josh.
Oh, yeah, because you guys hear enough of our voice as it is. Why call and hear more of us?
Yeah, you don't have to get a sleepy hello at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're supposed to be working, but you're trying to stay awake and you're trying to do something fun.
Yeah.
xjtalk.com is where you go when you're not off-road. And now you can go to xjtalk.com when you're off-road too. Using your smartphone, install the Tap a Talk app, then search for XJ Talk. Take XJ Talk with you wherever you go. Jury duty, dinner with your spouse's parents, even, well, anywhere you need your XJ Talk fix.
I know you've heard us talk about Amazon on the podcast before, but have you heard about our new game? You bought what? It's a lot of fun, and we want you guys to play along. All you have to do is go to xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com and click on the Amazon banner there on the main page. This takes you right to Amazon, where you can buy any crazy little thingamajig to join in on the fun. Amazon gives us a list every week of what you guys are buying, but we don't get to know who it is that's buying it. As an added bonus, you get the same great price you always would, and Amazon is going to give the show a small pittance for you playing along. So let's all have some fun. The XJ Talk Show and Amazon.com.
You're listening to the XJ Talk Show. Please help Tony and Josh get more listeners by telling a friend, or two, or three about the podcast. It's so simple. Just tell them to go to xjtalkshow.com. Okay, look, Tony is really insecure, and he measures his success by how many people listen to the show. He is driving us crazy, so please tell a friend.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or your MP3 player. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial over at www.audibletrial.com/xjtalkshow.
So what the hell, Josh? Where'd Richard Cranium go?
He got himself into a little bit of trouble. He's a little bit postponed, as it were. So we're going to hear from Richard Cranium Allswell III next week for another installment of the autobiography of the Jeep Cherokee XJ.
I'm enjoying those. So slap him around and tell him to, spank that monkey and tell him to get back on the stick.
Oh, we are close after all.
Yes. Now for some little YouTube love. Sorry, I didn't mean to say little too quick there.
I was going to say, you jumped the gun with that little remark there. I don't know. But, hey, guys, it's no little deal about you guys subscribing to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're telling a friend about it. And get you guys on the list. Well, we're going to give you some attention, pay some homage, spread some love around. We pick 4 out of the list every week in no particular order. If you haven't heard your name yet, sit tight. We'll get to you eventually. First on the list tonight is Prince 6.
Princey 6? Princess 6? I'm just going to get in trouble. Work Monkeys 2.
And we've got Steve Martinek on our number 3 spot.
And rounding out our list of 4, Eric Gibson. God bless you for putting the last one in there. It's easy to say.
Yeah, keep up those subscription, guys. We keep climbing the charts there, and every subscription helps. So make sure that you spread the word, tell a friend.
I think we're around 606 still. We gained some and we lost some. So I blame myself, Josh.
Well, we're not going to blame you guys for calling in and leaving a voicemail. In fact, we encourage you guys to do it. And one of our friends of the show, Nikki G, does that very same thing every week, and we enjoy hearing from him. We've got some voicemails to share with you right now, and Nikki's first on the list.
Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
You know, everybody's been keeping it clean, Josh.
Oh.
Hey, this is Nikki G. And I apologize for that YJ joke I made. It really didn't sound that funny. It sounded funny when I was telling it to myself. And again, I laugh at anything. I'm laughing right now about it, but it's still pretty funny to me. Anyhow, moving on. Tony, how many times have I told you never, never, never run your microwave and your toaster oven at the same time? Yeah, it sounds like a good idea having your SpaghettiOs and your garlic bread done at the same time. But for that little convenience, every time your breaker pops, you melt the ice cap just a little bit and kill a penguin. So
Kill a
don't
penguin.
do it anymore. And that's about it. And I'll chat you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.
I swear I'm going to make a best of Nikki G. I almost said Kenny G because I'm thinking about those KTL records. The best of Kenny G. No, it'd be pretty funny to have a best of Nikki G. You know, I bet you I could collect all of the voicemails that we've ever received from Nikki G, and we could do an entire show.
I was going to say we're going to have to string those all together, put them into one MP3 file, maybe with a little bit of back and forth with you and me, and then offer that up for our listeners. I think everybody would enjoy that.
I keep suggesting it, and I keep forgetting to do it. I need to contact Nikki G, and we need to set a time because he works shift work, or at least doesn't work mornings or days, and set a time when he's off, and all three of us get on and just go at it for 15 or 30 minutes and just get under the tin foil and find out who Nikki G really is.
Start peeling back the layers of tin foil, yeah, as it were.
All right, now here's an event I want you guys to think about, especially if you're in the New York area, that the Vermont Jeep Girl was kind enough to call in and promote. Now, it's going to be this weekend, so if you're listening live, you get to hear this, and means you still get time to go. This is all about women and off-road events, and Josh and I are very much in support of women being in the Jeep hobby. We think we need that other 50% of the population to get in there and have some fun with the rest of us. Little guy-on-guy action, I guess, is good, but boy, it's a lot better when there's women involved.
Yes, I'm going to second that motion wholeheartedly.
Hi, Tony and Josh. This is the Vermont Jeep Girl, and I am inviting you to join the off-roading women as they compete for the 2014 Jeep Girl Tough title. What could be better than mud, muck, motors, and women? We will host the second annual Jeep Girl Tough Challenge September 20th at Maximum Power Park in Poland, New York. You'll see women competing in their Jeeps, testing their off-roading skills and mechanical abilities. Watch the women get down and dirty in the side-by-course rock crawl and the all-favorite tire change. Registration begins at 8, and the first challenge starts at 10. For complete details, visit us on Facebook at VermontJeepGirl.com. Proceeds will benefit the 4x4 Sisters Mentor Program, be part of Vermont Jeep Girl's Off-Road Women's Magazine. Together, we are inspiring young women build confidence and self-esteem through off-roading. The Jeep Girl Challenge is sponsored by CSE Off-Road and Aussie Locker. Don't miss Kate Stetson defend her title of Jeep Girl Tough when these kick-ass women get down and dirty to battle it out for the 2014 Jeep Girl Challenge, September 20th at Maximum Power Park, 551 North Gage Road in Poland, New York. For more details, go to VermontJeepGirl.com. Thanks, guys, and have a great night.
Yeah, so on Facebook, just do a search for Vermont Jeep Girl, and then, of course, the website she was mentioning was VermontJeepGirl.com. And I don't know about you, Josh, but I think it would be a blast to go out there and watch a bunch of women do the things that we've done so many times before, and not laugh, but support. I'm sure there'd be opportunities to laugh with, but because everybody has, especially in these things where you're trying to rush through and you make mistakes. So I bet you it'd be a good time had by all.
Tony, we don't have anything like that out here, and I think this is just the coolest thing I've heard as far as Jeep events go in all the years that I've been involved in the off-road world, and including in the public eye with Jeep events here in the Pacific Northwest. This is something I think that we need to adopt out here in the Northwest. I think it would not only get a huge following, but be quite successful in especially raising as a fundraiser. And there's a dozen good causes that come to mind right off the top of my head. So this is something I'm going to have to reach out to the Vermont Jeep Girl myself and get in touch with whatever event coordinator is doing that sort of thing out there, and maybe get some ideas and maybe even some help, because I think that's something we need to do for 2015 out here in the Portland metro area.
I think it'd be really good. I don't know how, you have a little more experience with that, going out to these events and doing at least the DJing part of it. I don't know about how you get a bunch of people together and what the legal ramifications were about missing fingers and thumbs. I guess the same insurance that a shop teacher buys. But, I don't know what all the legalities would be. But, boy, it'd be a lot of fun to have someone like that locally.
Well, we've got this cool little organization. They're actually quite big. It's called the Pacific Northwest Four-Wheel Drive Association, and they're very much involved in off-road events here as far as taking care of the permits and insurance and things like that. So if you reach out to them soon enough, and usually soon enough means about the first or second week of January, then you can lock in a show date, and then you reach out to them, and they 9 times out of 10 will step up and help you, especially if it's for a good cause. So, Vermont Jeep Girl, thanks again for calling in and telling us about this event. Guys, just goes to show, if you got an event going on in your area give us a call, 530-675-4102. We want to know about what's going on in the Jeep world in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, you have about 3 minutes worth of time to put on there. And if you're concerned about how you're going to sound in the voicemail, don't worry about it. We always use the best one, which is usually the last one that you leave. Don't worry about calling in 3, 4, 5 times. Josh and I certainly understand about messing up and wishing we could do it over.
Ain't that the truth? And hey, it probably can't sound any worse than what I'm sounding like right now. So
your audio is fine, by the way.
Oh,
has been the whole show. All we had to do is bitch about it.
The XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
So we have some reviews here, and well, Josh, I think you put this in there. You take the honors of reading it. I like reading these.
I was going to say more so along the lines of bitching about something, and not really more about bitching, and less of a review than anything. But it's more like a suggestion. And this is from one of our xjtalk.com members. It goes by Blue Dragon 436. He says, we should take all the welding segments of the show, and these are some of the ones that Steve 4.3 LXJ has put together in our new segment, Jeep Garage. You guys have heard those in some of the last few episodes. But he says we should put them all together once they are all done and make a special welding podcast segment. Oh, yeah. Figure that way folks can reference back to the welding segments for information or tips when they're looking to pick up new equipment or do something in their XJs. And that's a great idea, having all of that great information. And there was a lot of really good information there from Steve. And putting that all in one spot for you guys to have access to. And, of course, that's not something we're going to be able to do just lickety-split. There's a lot of editing involved, and obviously it takes up a lot of time and effort. But we'll definitely put that on the to-do list. I think that's a great idea. And thank you, Blue Dragon 436, for submitting that idea. Guys, if you've got an idea, a suggestion for the show, do the same thing. Post it up at xjtalk.com. Send us an email, or better yet, give us a call.
So, James, welcome back. I think James is, as he puts it, no longer in the sandbox. I don't know if he's going back over there or not, but James, thank you for the suggestion. And I don't know, Josh, if we kind of scattered the welding segments around through multiple episodes of the podcast, people might have to listen to the whole podcast and find out where the welding segments are. I don't know. There might be a reason why we do these things the way we do them.
Well, we'd have to. That'd be something we'll actually have to give it some time. Maybe this time next year, we'll go ahead and resurrect that and maybe revisit that idea.
And this time next year, it'll be, oh yeah, we were going to do that.
Right.
I'm just messing with you guys. It was a great idea, James. Sorry.
I need to get one of those whiteboards, put it up on the wall, and scribble all these ideas on.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Amazon.com and the XJ Talk Show present You Bought What?
What the hell is this? This is new.
Well, it's new as in the last couple of weeks. But, guys, for you veteran listeners, you already know what's going on. And for those of you new to the show, well, check it out. We've got a great relationship set up with Amazon.com. If you don't know what Amazon.com is, well, it's the biggest online shopping source for, well, just about anything you could possibly imagine online. And guys, it's really, really cool. They've agreed to hook us up with a little bit of a list of what you guys are buying. But in order to make this happen, you guys have to go to xjtalkshow.com or xj.com. And right there on the main page, you're going to see an Amazon banner. All you got to do is click on it. It's going to take you to a page. You just click right through straight to Amazon.com, where you can buy any old thingamajig that you can possibly imagine, whether it be Jeep parts, bacon salt, or crotchless panties. You name it, it's going to end up on the list, but you got to click through the site first. It's a great way to support your favorite off-road podcast, as well as helping us keep the lights on here, and, well, we create a segment out of it. It's called Amazon You Bought What?
And I just want to reiterate, we don't have any idea who it is that is buying these things. All we do is we get a list of what the item was, and what the price of the unit was, and how much money we made off of it, which could be a couple of cents per item. Could be more on big items. And the only thing that we get anything identifiable with are the adult toys, and we get a picture of when you're making the purchase, and they have technology that can tell if you're typing with one hand or not. So
No, he's kidding people. But we do get those really oddball curveballs, we like to call them every again, and they are the things like crotchless panties, bacon salt, and the occasional adult toy. Or sometimes a whole kit of them, in fact. So if you guys want to have some fun with us, pick up one of those items just for grins and giggles and see what Tony and I end up having to do with it.
Hey, Josh, did you see that flashlight that doesn't have any light that comes out on it whenever you turn it on? I don't get that. Anyway, so
but yes,
it was really strange. It had this eye-looking thing on the end of it.
Oh, no.
So I'll start this off tonight. Somebody looks like they're getting ready for hunting. Mossy Oaks Men long sleeve pocket T-shirt, Infinity and beyond, XX large. You know, they got that for $13.56. I don't think you could go down to the mall, which I've never been in my Jeep. I don't think you get it at the mall for $13.56, especially XX large.
I was going to say, something of that size, and of course, with the Mossy Oak logo on it, you're not going to get that kind of a deal anywhere else except for Amazon.com. We've got some things here. Now, the name of this popped out to me. It's Cute Queen. and of course, you know, my gear started spinning. I'm like, oh, here we go. But these are actually LED car lights, and somebody picked up a 2-pack of red and a 4-pack of white. These are Cute Queen white 42 millimeter festoon dome light LED bulbs. Yeah. They've got 6 of them to choose from here, and they've got even a 4-piece multicolor 7-color LED interior underdash lighting kit to go along with that. So that one itself was $35. The other two less than $6.
Well, you know, I just got to say, I like that word festoon. I have no idea. I mean, I know it's associated with bulbs. I think it has to do with the way the little wire is done or something on it, the way it's the connector is. But I just like that word, festoon. Now, here's a good one. I've never found these manuals to be very good. I mean, way back when I first started working on vehicles, I thought, get a manual. And it just didn't have, I think it was a Chilton, just didn't have enough information in it. And, well, I guess it's a good thing because that's one of the reasons why we have xjtalk.com is to pass around the tech and answer those difficult questions that the manuals don't cover. So I guess having a manual these days isn't too bad. Anyway, here's a Hayes manual for a Camaro/Firebird 93 through 2000. Wow, you know, if that was like 65 through 69, I would really like that. But there's nothing wrong with the Camaro. Well, actually, that 1980 Camaro that my mom had kind of sucked. But anyway.
Well, here's something that's actually in my neck of the woods. Now, this is something related to my specific area, and this is another book as well. This is the Mount Hood and Willamette National Forest Trails Illustrated Map Book, number 820. Less than $11, they picked themselves up. I'm really curious to see what kind of detail this trails map has, and if it has off-road trails or just hiking trails, logging roads, bike trails, horse trails, and all the stuff that's usually not associated with automobiles. So, nonetheless, cool stuff coming out of Oregon.
Oh hell, I remember this movie, Rain Man, special edition. You know, I don't know if that's very politically correct to say special edition with a movie like Rain Man. See, this is where I hit the button. It goes. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
So anyway, somebody ordered them a DVD off of Amazon, and well, here's one that Robin Williams was in. Jack, I think I got that right. So. Somebody made a couple of DVD purchases there.
Yeah, and here's one that back into the book section here. This is one that pops up every now and again, and I get tickled pink every time I see it because it's one of my favorite reads. And, of course, it's the author is a friend of the show, and he's actually been on our show before, Eric Zappi. It's the Jeep Cherokee XJ 1984-2001 Advanced Performance Modifications. This is his second book that he's released. This is definitely a performance and how-to book. Guys, you've got to pick this one up. If you haven't gotten the first one, now would be a good time to get both.
Get them all. Yeah, get them both. And, you know, that's another one we got. I just have been, Eric's ready to go. I'm surprised he's not calling me up and saying now, because every time I say, hey, Eric, we're going to get to you, we're going to do that interview, he's like, great, looking forward to it. It's the problem's here. The problem is with me, not Eric. Eric's more than willing to get it going. You know, I blame having a busy job. I'll go with that. Hey, and we're going to round out the list here with a CB, and this is kind of a dovetail into our radio comm segment tonight. A Midland 36-mile, 50-channel FRS. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not a CB, it's a Family Services Radio, but FRS GMRS two-way radio pair, black and silver. So I guess this is like a handy-talkie. 36 miles? Oh, come on. This is reminding me of way back when I was a kid, whenever they said you could get one of these walkie-talkies for $9.95 and get up to a quarter-mile range.
Yeah.
If you could get to the next-door neighbor, you were lucky.
I would say 36 miles, yeah, if you were, standing on your tippy toes on top of a TV tower, then just maybe.
I read something that if you're out in space and you don't have to worry about all the water that's reflecting the RF on the terrestrial communications, that like a 5-watt walkie-talkie has about a 5,000-mile range.
Oh, I'd buy that, yeah.
So it's I blame it on the Earth. It's all the Earth's fault.
Damn you, terra firma!
We just found out what you bought.
Oh my God, I just can't believe that made it on the list.
Well, this part of the XJ Talk Show is brought to you by Audible.com. If you like podcasts, there's a good chance you guys are going to like audiobooks too. Especially if you're busy like Tony and I, and we don't have time to read books or get people in for interviews and stuff like that. Besides, guys, reading a book in traffic, well, it's probably going to be bad for your health. Audible.com has over 150,000 titles to choose from across any imaginable topic, from tech to sci-fi, from self-help, fantasy, fiction, you name it. They've even got some Jeep stuff, too. To get you started, the XJ Talk Show has got your hookup. Just go to audibletrial.com/XJ Talk Show and instantly get one free title of your choice. That's right. Anything you want for absolutely free. Who says you can't get something for nothing? It's audibletrial.com/XJ Talk Show.
You already know about XJ Talk on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. But did you know we're on YouTube as well? We have off and on-road adventures, how-tos for fixing or augmenting your Jeep. Besides, man cannot live by sound alone, right? Come see what we got at youtube.com/user/XJTalk. Don't forget to subscribe and make comments on our videos.
Feels good to stand up for a change, Josh.
Well, I'm going to sit down by the campfire, pop myself a cold one, and, BS a little bit about my own Jeep.
Is there any BS this week?
Nope, there's not, in fact. No, guys, my Jeep has been sitting in the garage for almost 2 weeks straight. Not because it's broken or anything like that, just because, I'm perfectly fine with letting it sit in the garage, for now at least. I've been a busy boy, and I haven't had time to go out and enjoy it at all. I do have a show coming up this week, though, and I'm not DJing this one, so I actually get to head out
have fun.
I actually get to enjoy an off-road show for a change, and this just so happens to be one of the larger ones in the Portland metro area. In fact, it's called No Roads Required. It's the third annual event. It started off as the Don't Fear the Jeeper event, which I thought was very cool named, but because of some copyright issues and stuff like that, the original people who had thrown that event are no longer doing this sort of thing, but they decided to hold on to the rights to that name, and so the event's name had to change from Don't Fear the Jeeper to No Roads Required. And it's a pretty big deal. It's gotten so large over the last few years, they've actually had to move the event down to the Portland International Raceway, and we take over one of the whole side fields. Hundreds and hundreds of Jeeps roll into this lot. Into this area, and it's really a cool show. They usually have a pretty big raffle. There's an RTI ramp. There's talks about, if this event keeps getting bigger, that they're going to open up the infield to us, and we get to use the motocross track as an off-road course. So I think that would be pretty cool. And hopefully, if everybody behaves themselves and treads lightly, picks up litter, and the event keeps growing and sponsors keep rolling in and stuff like that, that this is going to end up turning out to be one of the largest off-road events on the West Coast.
Well, Josh, I'm glad they didn't go with that other name of the show that they were thinking about going with. Don't Fear Al and his dumbass keeping of the show name. Come on out. And I'm just joking. I don't know if it's Al. I think of Al Gore when I say Al. I don't know who this guy is keeping the name of this thing, but that kind of sucks. I mean, I understand you come up with something you don't want to use. You want a little something for the name, but come on. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of petty to hold on to rights to something like that. I mean, especially because give him extra points for originality and for being
originality. Don't fear the Jeeper. I like it, but it's not original at all. I'm surprised. I thought the original people that don't fear the Reaper were the ones had the problem. I didn't realize that somebody that came up with a half turn on the originality knob with Don't Fear the Jeeper was saying, no, I spent days coming up with that. I had a team of writers coming up with that.
That must be the same team that came up with the title for the Tony and Josh show.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But guys, this is going on this weekend. I know. So if you're listening to the podcast, you're going to be a day, 2 days late and $10 short, because that's all it's going to take to get in. And all the proceeds are going to go to the Yakult Burn Project, which for those of you who are not from the Pacific Northwest probably sounds like something very, very weird. Yakult yes. Burn is actually it's basically a mountain is what it is. And it's a large plot of forested land. It's owned by and managed by the Bureau of Land Management. And there's been talks about trying to get a new off-road trail system put into that area. And there's so much red tape from the BLM. And most of this is because of Washington State, honestly. But they keep throwing obstacles in our way, more red tape. It's like, oh, well, you want to cross this 2.5 cups of water per minute stream that has been here for all of 3.5 weeks. We're going to need you to put in a bridge and do a full environmental impact study. And furthermore, no. So, wow. That's the kind of stuff we're running into. So, most of the money that is raised during these events, and this has been going on for years and years and years, there's multiple events that go on throughout the year that help fund this cause. And all the proceeds are going to mostly legal costs, to tell you the truth. But the costs associated with doing environmental impact studies, for procuring supplies and labor and stuff like that, for bringing in machinery and for building bridges and things like that. So if you guys have, and for those of you who do have access to open public land, consider yourselves very lucky. But if you're in the midst of or would like to start a project to get a new off-road trail system built in your area, you're in for one heck of an uphill battle. And that's what we're doing. So this event not only is a lot of fun, but it's also for a good cause. Guys, if you are listening to the live show and you'd like to come out, come check me out. I'm going to be hanging out with the Metal Cloak guys, and we'll be over there at the booth and hanging out and talking Jeep all day long. The event is from noon to 4 p.m. It's this Saturday, September 20th. Admission is $10 per vehicle, so cram in as many people as you can into your Jeep. Roll on down, come say hi, let's have some fun.
That's not bad, the whole Jeep. I know the off-road parks like to charge for the Jeep, your feet, whether or not you got shoes on or not, and toe straps, and it just goes on and on. So $10 per Jeep, that's pretty good. See how many clowns you can fit in that Jeep. Last little clown car.
Well, hey, speaking of Jeeps and funny noises and stuff, what's going on with your Jeep? I know that you've had some rattling going on. I don't know if that's still there. You talked about maybe putting in some engine honey and seeing if that would take care of it. What's the latest going on with your engine rattle?
Nothing. It was just a bottle cap.
A bottle cap.
I don't know if you guys are aware of it or not, but anytime that you're doing stuff like live like this or recording anything, especially in the interview, if you go, hey, it's great to have you here tonight, and we're really excited about your book, and we want to talk about blah, 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 and so tell us about it. Yeah, it was pretty good. And you just a little bit inside because it's like, oh crap, I just did all this and now something else. So I was doing that to Josh just because I'm that kind of guy. It has a little lifter tick, as Matt had mentioned. He thinks it might go away as it gets cooler out, and I don't know if it has anything to do with it being cooler here. We've been getting a lot of rain. Arizona's been getting a lot of rain from that hurricane that went into the Mexico side of the Pacific, and we've been getting rain here for the last 3 days. And certainly the power has come back, but that's probably just because it's not running over 210 degrees right now, which during the height of summertime, I probably was running 235 to 240. But with a good cooling system, it's fine. It doesn't go any higher than that. It doesn't overheat, and you do feel a loss of power. So I will say that lifter tick did start happening at the height of the summer temperatures. So there may be a connection there. Of course, certainly the oil viscosity thins out as it heats up. So now on my the other engine that I had in there, I ran Pennzoil straight 30 for a long time because I would get a little lifter noise on the original engine. Nothing like this, but so I just went with the straight 30 because I figured in this environment where it's hot all year long, there's no reason to have a changing viscosity level.
And so, Tony, this is just to help educate some people out there who might not know too much about oil. This isn't 5W30. This isn't 10W30. There is no W. This is just straight 30 weight oil. Am I right?
Yeah, something you'd put in your lawnmower engine.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I'm sure it goes by other names and stuff like that, but you should be able to get this at any auto parts store. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we have not torn the other engine down completely, but just based on what we saw when we took the engine out, Matt was blown away at how good my engine looks running the Pennzoil, because he's always heard bad things about Pennzoil. And really blown away because it was straight 30. So he was going to, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he was going to reevaluate his thoughts on Pennzoil, because I ran the straight 30 for quite a while. I got that little bit of lifter noise shortly after buying it. And remember, guys, I'm one of the few people that bought my Jeep new. So it was actually off the showroom floor, 19 miles on it. So I would like to talk about this other stuff that occurred. Now, I had been having a rattling noise, a knocking noise. I had originally thought that it was something related to the bottom end of the engine, and then it dawned on me, well, I just put the skid back on the underneath the transfer case, and it was probably tapping. The transfer case was actually tapping on the skid, and I think I actually corrected that here on the show. Or maybe I haven't. At any rate, it is not the transfer case tapping on the transfer case skid. It was something related to the engine. So it was getting a little worse, and I needed to find out what it was. So last weekend,
It was a bottle cap.
Yes. I don't know how it got in there. I think Matt did that on purpose. He stuck it in there just to mess with me. But anyway, I went out and worked on the Jeep last weekend because I needed to find out what that was, if for no other reason to make sure that I knew how much time I had with that engine before I needed to do something major to it or replace it. I was actually considering going and tearing down the old engine that came in the Jeep, the 98 engine that's sitting there at Matt's shop, and get him to take it down to the machine shop, get it all cleaned up and bored if necessary. And I was going to actually build that one myself. So to that end, I wanted to get something else to drive. We need a fourth vehicle here anyway. I've got two young ladies that are adults, and they could use two vehicles to drive. So I actually went and looked at a 2004 Dodge Ram 1500 single cab, four-wheel drive, and they wanted $4,750 for it. It had 161,000 miles. Looked pretty good, and believe it or not, unfortunately, it was red. So I was actually kind of hoping that I could get something other than red, because that's the only color vehicles that we have here is red.
Of course it was red.
Yeah. So we took a trip over there, and I test drove it, and boy, it was really smooth, shifted very nicely. So got back, offered him $4,000 for it, and he was like, gee, and I would have been fine with $4,250. And I'll tell you this, I wasn't overly excited about the vehicle. You know how you just kind of fall in love with a vehicle and you want it? Because I'm looking at a vehicle that I could use to haul stuff, because it's a truck, but mainly for one of my daughters to drive here locally, just around, not more than a few miles back and forth, not the 20-mile trek that I do every day. But certainly, if I needed to work on the Jeep, I would have a backup vehicle, and it wouldn't impact the rest of the family any worse than what having three vehicles now is. If I had the Jeep broke down in the garage and I was had removed the head and I was changing out those lifters or anything else that I found in there. That's my biggest concern is I get it apart and I've got the lifters ready to go in and they go, oh, look, the cam is messed up. So now I got to pull the front, the header or whatever you call that front part off so I can pull the cam out and, all that stuff, the things you find when you start tearing into something. So I just didn't feel comfortable going down that road without having another vehicle. Anyway, they said he basically went and looked and talked to somebody and came back. He says, no, we can't go any lower than 4,500, and without a pause, but politely, very nice, but without a pause, he said, but thanks for coming out.
And promptly said, security!
So it wasn't even that back and forth. Now, I don't do a lot of haggling over things, but I thought the game is, this is what I'll pay you. This is what we'll take. And then you make another offer. So I was prepared to go, well, I can go $42.50, but the wife is going to make me sleep outside tonight, something along those lines.
Right.
But it was like $4,500. Thanks for coming out. So I guess that was his way of saying $4,500 is all we're going to be able to go. I'm not going to pause here for you to give me a counter offer. So I said thanks, got in the Jeep and left.
Yep.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is a Craigslist thing. It says for sale by owner, not by dealer, and the picture is of the vehicle out in front of an apartment complex, not at a dealership lot.
So I would flag that one many times over.
So there was a couple of things. They were very nice. I didn't like the area where it was because it was basically called Houston, and I don't like going into Houston. And they had scuff marks, significant scuff marks, several places on the vehicle. Now it's a 10-year-old vehicle or 11 years, so I understand. But in the ad it said excellent condition. Anyway, I was more than happy to entertain the idea of the 4,000, but or maybe even the 4,200, but they didn't want to play that game, and I didn't check the day, but as of what was it, last weekend I went? Yeah, it was last weekend. So like as of Tuesday or Wednesday, they had relisted it. They have still not sold it. So they have my number, so I'm wondering if I'm going to get a call. Hey, that 4,000? Oh, I'm sorry, it's 3,800 now. They'll probably sell it. They'll probably finance it with somebody and make 10 times the amount of money that just repoing it because they can't make the payments on it. So it was pretty. It was nice inside, but no power windows, no power locks. But boy, it was nice seeing that little transfer case shifter down there. And it's a standard. So when I said it shifted nice, I mean it shifted nice from a standard standpoint. 4-wheel drive, standard transmission.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when I got underneath the Jeep to look and try to see about, the first thing I was going to check were the bolts on the flywheel. I'm sorry, not the flywheel, on the flex plate, because I have had that. Yep. I have had that happen before. It makes a weird noise, but the noise isn't as loud as what I was hearing. But something seemed similar about that noise that had something to do with the loose nuts on the flex plate, loose bolts on the flex plate. So I got under there, and I took the inspection cover off, the half of the inspection cover that shows you those the flex plate and the bolts that are in there. And I look over to my side, and the upper control arm on the passenger side was ajar. It was not lined up like it should be. And on closer and factory bolt that was holding it in place was sticking out a good...
Is this on the axle side or on the body side?
Body side.
Oh, wow.
So that little piece of metal that they have stuck on the end of that bolt, so that whenever you turn it, it hits against things, so you don't have to actually have it. There's no bolt head on one side. It just has that piece of metal, that little flag or ear that's on there. That thing was sticking out of there about 3 inches, and it was at an angle because it was in the hole of the lower control arm bracket and a little bit in the lower control arm. I'm sorry, upper control arm.
I wonder how long that's been working its way loose like that. That's amazing.
Well, I can tell you that whenever I would make a sharp left turn, it felt like the tire was folding under. And it didn't want to return back to center. Whenever I would go to straighten out, I would have to really just turn it. I mean, it wasn't so bad that you would think there was an issue. Now, keep in mind, I was driving this vehicle every day, at least 75 to 80 miles an hour going down the highway.
Amazing. And with a 3.5 link suspension system.
Yeah, exactly. And so I had to kind of I was like, what the hell? I couldn't believe that. So I had to kind of scramble around and try to find a bolt that would be long enough and that had a nut on it. And I don't know if you guys keep up extra bolts and nuts as you're working on things. You know, usually you get a bunch of nuts and bolts whenever you're adding on stuff. And I've added to the TJ, and I've certainly added to mine. I've even added to the 99. So I had a fairly substantial bolt bucket to go through.
Okay.
And I finally found one that was long enough, and the only way I know to get that thing lined up is to put a ratchet strap between the cross member on the transfer case and the upper control bracket that's on the axle, and just ratchet like hell to try to move that upper control arm into the hole. And it always gets within a fraction of an inch of being right, and something you can't do the ratchet strap any further, or in my case, I broke it. The ratchet strap didn't break, but the mechanism that you use to ratchet it, stopped working.
Stripped out or whatever. Yeah,
because I bent it.
If any of you guys have ever tried to install control arms, and especially the upper ones, if everything else is already in, both lower control arms, shocks, brake lines, springs, tie rod, drag link, and all that. If everything else is already in place and all you have left to do is one control arm, you're in for one hell of a battle. There really is not an easy way to go about it other than stripping everything down and starting over. I really honestly prefer doing the upper control arms first, then moving to the lowers, doing the axle side first, and then moving to the body side, leaving those for very last, because I've got a couple tricks with pry bars that I use to get those to line up right. But yeah, no, did you get it back in? Did you get it bolted back up?
Yeah, I did, and it wasn't from lack of cussing. It was.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. While you were talking, I was able to grab a picture. Oh, this is the one. This is the picture of the repair, and let me grab the other one here while I'm talking. But it's hard to see these things when they're just thumbnails. I thought that was the one that was the right one. Anyway, but that's the repaired, and I did manage to find a grade 8 bolt. But honestly, since I was working on this thing on Sunday night, I was happy with anything that would work until I could get to the hardware store. I probably would have driven the speed limit the next day, but since I found a good bolt, I decided to drive full speed. Yeah, and I need to look at the other one to make sure that it's not doing the same thing, because if you didn't catch that, this is a factory bolt. Oh, and I didn't mention, and here's the image for you guys listening to the audio podcast. You're going to love this. Here's the image of what I saw whenever I was underneath the vehicle working on it. I said, well, that doesn't look right. Where's the duct tape? Because this isn't a JB Weld fix. This is a duct tape fix if I ever seen one. But anyway,
that is in the world.
But anyway, this is a factory bolt, and what I didn't say is the nut didn't vibrate off this thing. It completely snapped the end of the bolt off.
Oh, whoa. You must have hit something or doing some curb jumping, or what did you do?
You guys give me a hard time about being a mall crawler, but I guarantee you I'm hard on vehicles on the road. So, I like I like making fast turns, I like driving fast, and one of the reasons why I'm in a big lifted vehicle is because I probably would have killed somebody by now if I was in a go fast car. So this Jeep will get me in enough trouble, just perfectly fine the way it is. So anyway, I don't know if you can tell from this picture or not, but here's the bolt, the factory bolt that I took out of there, and it looks perfectly fine when you look at it. But whenever I was trying to put that thing back through the holes, once I got everything lined back up, it went flat against the side of the upper control arm mount, but there was no bolt sticking out of the hole. And that's when I took it out and then looked at it closely, and you could see where it had actually been sheared off. So I was afraid that I hadn't tightened something up properly, but that wasn't the case. So anyway, I replaced that with a grade 8 bolt. I went back and finished checking the bolts on the flex plate, and I found one that was slightly loose. I mean, just like where you could, do an 1/8 inch of a turn, if that much. And it wasn't enough to make any noise. So I pretty much gave up and felt like I had found a significant and fixed a significant issue, even if it wasn't going to be the one causing the noise. And so I started the engine back up, and I thought, well, I wonder if the downpipe where it runs on top of the transfer case, the cross member for the transmission, I wonder if it's what's rattling because it's vibrating with the engine. And so I stuck a big ass screwdriver in there, and when I went to pry it up, the knocking got less. So this is knocking noise, by the way. This isn't a ch-ch-ch-ch or anything like an exhaust issue. So then I let it back down, knock, pried it back up, and then that knocking noise, I didn't think about it. I actually have a recording of the noise I should have played for everybody. Maybe I'll throw that in post. But it's a really strange noise. So I went, okay, I've actually touched something that has something to do with that noise. So I went back and I thought, well, I'm pressing here. That's going to be moving the header. Is the header loose on the block? Am I getting some sort of knocking noise there? So I got under there and I was looking up at the bolts on the bottom because I had looked at the ones on the top. The intake and the exhaust both use the same bolts, which I think is just a crappy idea. And while I was looking, just laying under there looking at stuff, I noticed that one of the major transmission to block bolts was completely out of the hole. The only thing that was holding it in there was the kickdown bracket that goes to the transmission, for the kickdown cable, so when you give it enough gas that it kicks the transmission down.
Whoa!
So that was a fairly simple fix, and I was hoping that this is going to be because it did sound reminiscent of a popping noise that you would get with loose bolts on the flex plate. So I went over to the other side once I got that one tightened, and the bolt straight across, not there.
Oh, jeez. It's any wonder you weren't spewing transmission fluid all over the place, or things were even still running.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Well, guys, this is a great story that really proves the point how important it is to at least every once in a while, a few times a year at the very least. I like to do it every oil change or so, depending on how often you drive your Jeep. But to go through everything top to bottom, I know it's going to take almost a full weekend to do, but to go over every last nut and bolt and just give it a little twist. And really a visual examination of everything will go a long way in preventing some of these kind of things from happening to your guys' Jeep.
Yeah, and we're going to run a little long tonight, but I think you're going to think it's worth it here for our Radio Comtech segment from John Prerunner 1982. And like Josh said, make sure you check all the nuts and bolts. It's not just like they say when you put on a lift kit after 500 miles, check to make sure everything's still tight. I would continue doing that after the 500 miles because you never know what you're going to find. Oh, I will add, I'm a little concerned now that probably what I have is a broken flex plate. So from, the transmission moving back and forth, and it would have been the torque converter and the flex plate holding everything together. Now, there's more than 2 bolts. I'll say that. There's more than 2 bolts, and the others seem to be there, but I'm still checking it. Anyway, now let's get to our Radio Comtech with John Prerunner 1982.
And now it's time for some Radio Comtech.
This is Radio Comtech with my favorite Jeeper, John Prerunner 9.
We'll get it to you guys in just a second. I bet you I lost the setting when I restarted the software because I had told it to automatically restart with transition, and it didn't. So that's still not it. Where the hell did it go? Oh, that's right. I didn't save it. So you guys give me a second. I got to add it back. This is what happens when you have technical issues, Josh.
This is what happens when you start touching things.
Yes. That is exactly my point.
Well, while Tony goes ahead and gets that loaded up and queued up and everything, I'll tell you guys a brief story about my own radio issues that I'm suffering. I've gone through 2 microphones so far on the CB that I have. I don't know what, 6, 7, about 7 years or so that I've owned this Jeep, and it's had the same CB in it the entire time. But every now and again, I lose transmission. I can receive just fine, but my transmission is going out extremely garbled. And so I would find a fray in a coax, and so I'd replace some coax, or I'd find a loose connection, or I'd refresh a ground, and things would kind of come back. And then, sure enough, halfway through the wheeling trip, everybody would be like, I can't hear a single word you're saying. And so I am transmitting. It just it comes in kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher, you know. And so yeah, I've narrowed it down to yet another bad mic. So yeah, I'm playing with my thing.
You're not hanging that thing up from its cord, are you? Where it dangles with the weight of the microphone or anything?
That's exactly what I do, Tony.
Yeah,
that's probably why I have issues. And of course, I hang it from the cord up over the rear view mirror, and every now and again I pull a Tony, go around a corner at 75 miles an hour,
Get
and
smacked in the head.
Yeah, well, yeah. It usually ends up going to the passenger side.
Oh, of course it does.
I loop around from the right. But yeah, so it'll go careening across the dashboard into the A-pillar, or square onto the ground on the passenger floorboard. So it's taken its fair share of beatings, this last microphone anyway. So I'm sure that's got a few things to do with it. But yeah, it just goes to show you guys, you got to take care of those microphones.
So on the back of the microphone, there's this little thing called a microphone hanger.
Yeah, I know.
I'm serious, man. Use that, because that's exactly the issue. I know that's what's causing your problem, and it's an emergency thing. You want to be able to have that thing working when you really need it to, not just to give those smoky reports. All right, here we go. I've actually got it queued up, and with the with a little luck, we're going to have it work this time. So we're going to cue it from the top.
And now it's time for some Radio Tech.
This is John, pre-runner 1982, and on this segment of Radio Tech, I'm going to talk Zello.
Everybody loves Zello!
No. Zello. Zulu Echo Lima Lima Oscar. This is a app for your smartphone that takes that smartphone and turns it into a walkie-talkie. Now this is good when not everybody in your group has a CB. Unless you're like me, most everybody has a smartphone. So everybody would need to download this app, and then you can set up a channel for your group. Everybody would log into the channel, and then works, like I said, just like a CB. Everybody can talk to each other all at the same time. Now, it doesn't matter which provider you use, because this works via the internet using your data plan. Now, I have heard some complaints regarding this app. First of all, it uses a lot of battery. So if you're using this out on the trail, make sure you have your mobile charger with you. Secondly, it can be hard to hear, especially in an open-top Jeep. So any kind of earphone mic, either plug-in or Bluetooth, probably help that as well. Another drawback is that you must have cell phone coverage in order to utilize this app. This app works well not just on the trail, but really anywhere you have coverage. Say, you drive home in the afternoons, you and all your buddies can get on your channel and chit-chat on your way home. How about while you're listening to the XJ Talk Show? That's right, XJ Talk has a channel as well, xjtalk.com. Everybody can log on while you're listening to the show and chat about what Tony and Josh are doing or not doing. Zello can be downloaded from iTunes, Amazon, or directly from the Zello website, zello.com. So in lieu of a CB, there's another option for you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you'd like me to talk about on a future Radio Comtech segment, send me an email, prerunner1982@yahoo.com. This is John, prerunner1982, clear.
You know, it was funny. I was trying to find the time frame on that, and it doesn't show up here in the video mixing software. And I forgot to make note of it earlier, so I had no idea how long that one was. But it was a good segment. Yeah, we actually talked about Zello on a past XJ Talk show, and
well, that was way back in the day. I want to say that was back in the in the 50s episode numbers.
Oh yeah, I was thinking 1950s, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. We were on there and used it quite a bit. And like John says, it works very well. I just want to make sure you guys understand that it is not an alternative for emergency communications, as in ham or CB radio, because using this Zello, it does work a lot like a two-way communication, like a handy-talkie or something would, or a walkie-talkie would. But the problem is you still have to have the billion-dollar infrastructure for it to work. Also, you have to have access to the Zello servers that handle all the routing of the voice communication. So it is a communication protocol that is ripe with failures. So in any earthquake, hurricane, whatever like that, if it works, great, but have something else to be able to use that you can fall back on. I'm sure that the communication people thought about this and then nixed the idea, but with the radio transmitters that are in the cell phones, we could have had the ability to talk cell phone to cell phone like in an emergency situation had they built that into it. So,
oh yeah, good point.
You know, because they're transceivers, and they could have been made to have direct communication, but they're not, because direct communication doesn't mean that you have to pay somebody for that communication, that ability to communicate. It's all about the dollars, people. So that's another reason why you need to consider CBs and ham radios, so that you buy the radio, you got the antenna, you get the knowledge of how to do it, and now you're not onus to anybody else for being able to communicate.
Well, all good stuff right there. You guys, jam-packed show full of all kinds of good stuff. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. If you like what you hear, make sure you tell a friend. And, of course, if you'd like to support our show, I highly encourage you guys to head over to xjtalkshow.com or xjtalk.com. Please click on the Amazon banner there and do your online shopping through Amazon.com by helping support the XJ Talk Show. And, of course, if you guys have a show going on in your own neck of the woods, we'd like to hear about it. Give us a call, our 24/7 voicemail line, 530-675-4102. We want to hear from you.
Yes. Don't forget about the show that Vermont Jeep Girl is going to be doing, having the Women Off-Road. I've already forgot the name of it. Sorry, guys. But if you go to Facebook, look up Vermont Jeep Girl, or go to vermontjeepgirl.com, you can get more information on the event that happens this weekend on the 20th in the New York area. So go, and we'll have it in our show notes. Unfortunately, that will be Monday when the show is released. If you have an event or anything that you want to talk about and you'd like to advertise it here on our show, please feel free to call in to the voicemail number. And I don't have it in front of me, Josh. 530-675-4102. And tell us about it. Now, keep in mind, Thursday's live show isn't released till Monday. So don't wait until the Thursday before your event to tell us what the show is, or the event, or whatever it is you're having. Get it in at least a week ahead of time.
Make sure you guys don't wait to head over to Facebook and check us out over there. We're also on Twitter, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn.com, and, of course, iTunes. Guys, make sure you head over to iTunes, download the podcast, give us a 5-star review, leave a comment. We'd like to hear from you there as well. And of course, you guys cannot forget about our live show, like Tony said, every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central on YouTube.
It's so much fun that it's as much fun as you can have your pants on. Of course, Josh and I don't wear pants. We've made a pact that when we found that when we're free down there, we're more free to be open with you here on the show.
That's why I don't stand up during the live show, guys. So,
well, you have a leather chair. You have a leather chair. When you stand up, the chair goes with you.
Right.
See you guys next week. Have a great Jeep week. You know, I didn't realize that that was that John's segment was so short. We only went about 4 minutes over.
Not too shabby. I was expecting, 10 or 15 minutes more, from that segment. Most of his other segments have been, at least 5 or 10 minutes long or so, somewhere around there. And I just figured this one was going to be kind of in the same ballpark. So I was thinking, geez, we're running long already, or, really close to it with that. We're going to end up going way long. And so I just want to make sure that we were, going to end up at least close to that 1 hour mark.
Yeah. So my fault for rambling, but you know how it is when you start talking about something that pisses you off or that you love. It's like that every little subtle nuance that you went through, all the happiness, the sad, the urination. Maybe that's just me. Everything that you do while you're working on your Jeep, all comes back.
Well, yeah, and you had some good points to touch on, and there was a lot of stuff going on with your Jeep. The control arm, the lifter tick, geez, you covered like 3 or 4 different things. That was pretty good.
So I don't understand why that factory bolt sheared like that. I think the bolt is too small for what it's doing. Now, I did notice, and I don't know if you were seeing those pictures or not, I did notice that the rubber bushing that was on the upper control arm was coming apart, and I thought I had taken a picture of this about a month ago, just because I thought it would be a good picture to post up on xjtalk.com, and I went back to try to find it because I know that at least I didn't notice any problem with the bolt missing or the end of it missing. Now, I could have just looked at it, and you know how the brain just interprets. It doesn't actually record or see. So if you have a preconception, like there's a bolt there and it has a nut on the end of it, and then you look, and unless you just really think about it, you see what you expect. So it's possible. Right. I couldn't find the picture, so I don't know if I snapped a shot or not, but I did notice that the bushing was coming apart. So now I'm wondering if maybe since the rubber at the ends of the control arm, maybe it was allowing it to move, and maybe that's what was happening is that it moved and then sheared that nut off. That bolt off. But that's the damnedest thing. It makes me nervous for the other side. And I would assume it's a grade 8 bolt. It's in a very serious location.
Those are grade 5, from what I remember, and it's like a 3/8 bolt or something like that.
It's very small.
It's pretty long.
Yeah, it's very long and very narrow. I would like to see something at least a 1/4 inch bigger, honestly. And I can't put that in there because the bushing has a metal sleeve, and I could drop the control arm and see how big that bushing is, I suppose, and then drill out the drop brackets and put a bigger bolt in there. But I may do that. For one thing, I know I'm going to swap out that other bolt. And I did get some feedback on Facebook when I posted this up about having a hell of a time getting this upper control arm in. And somebody did suggest disconnecting the 2 bottom control arms, putting the upper control arms in, and then putting the lowers in, which I need to do anyway because I haven't gone over it in this on this show, but I have some spring curve. So even though I've carefully measured and set the length of the adjustable control arms, the coils have a bit of an arch to them, and so I actually need to push the axle forward maybe a 1/4 of an inch.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much a 1/4 inch will change things.
Yeah, I know.
That's what she said.
That's that's from a okay or oh okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got our script for this evening just about done. I want to try and wrap this thing up. I can get to bed at a decent time tonight.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, I had a nap tonight because I stayed up till after. I stayed up to after 1 last night.
Broke your streak, Tony.
and it was cool because I actually had a little hard time going to sleep. So I just knew I needed to get a nap because I had only had like 5 hours worth of sleep the night before. So anyway, I think I'm on the road to recovery, the waking world. Okay, so guys, we're going to say see you later. I just jumped back over to the YouTube page, and I see that Steve said hello. Steve, thank you very much for all the segments that you sent. I didn't think we were going to have enough time tonight, and also too, I didn't have time to get to one of the segments and get it ready for tonight. So if you're still there, we'll certainly use those segments. Thank you for getting all those to me last night, and we'll be playing those on upcoming episodes. I think he sent me like 4 last night that I still need to. Yeah,
that's amazing. Good job, Steve.
I was doing stuff with the Tony and Josh show last night, so I just saw them pop up. I hadn't had a chance to listen or see what they're named. I think I saw in a private message he said something about another garage segment. So I think
I need to spend some serious time here in the studio. I've got I was going to do an intro for the Jeep Garage.
Yeah, that'd be
try
great.
to come up with something for that as well, so we can kind of delineate the two between the Jeep Tips and the Jeep Garage. And then there was another promo that I need to start working on, which I have started working on. I just haven't recorded anything yet. I'm just kind of piecing together some samples and putting together a script.
Yeah, sometimes you have to listen to stuff to get an idea of what direction you want to go. Sometimes you come up with the idea and you look for the stuff to make it happen, but sometimes you get inspiration just by listening to what's available that you can stick in there. Anyway, guys, I'll just say a radio thing. 73s, or never say 73rds, and actually 73s is even wrong. You say 7-3. So 7-3, and we'll catch you later. And we're Tony and Josh from the XJ Talk Show is QRT. I was waiting for you to say something.
No, you said it, man. That's it. That's end of transmission.